What is going on, YouTube and weight loss warriors? It's your boy C-Dub, and I'm back with another video. And today I want to talk about, is weight loss happening in the gym or is it happening in the kitchen? And I wanted to dive into that important topic. And the reason why it's, coming from me is because I lost 125 pounds. So I think I know a little bit about weight loss, and I think I know a little bit about whether it's more important to be in a gym or whether it's more important to be in the kitchen and kind of how they work together. But I think that there's truth on all kinds of different fronts in weight loss. So I kind of wanted to confront this because we hear it all the time. And what I hear most of the time is 90% of diet is done in the kitchen. And I've even said on this channel that I agree with that. But I want to break it down a little bit more in depth and kind of talk about the understanding of it and where the science comes into play and whether or not it's full truth, because I don't think it is full truth. I think that we have this way of citing whatever we want to make a point, and we take whatever our point is and we kind of steer it towards one thing or the other, and we leave out some valid things in the other side that just get ignored. You see it in our politics, and we see it in just everything nowadays. And so in weight loss, you get a lot of misinformation. So I wanted to give you the facts. And what the facts are exercise doesn't burn a lot of calories. And if we look at weight loss as simply calories in and calories out, which you guys know, I don't necessarily believe that it's the full truth. I believe hormones have a lot to do with it too. But if we just look at the fact that weight loss comes from calories, from burning energy, right? And we have to burn more energy than we intake. Well, exercising, you can burn energy, but what a lot of people don't tell you is you don't burn a lot of energy. If you spend a good hour on a treadmill, you may burn 500 calories if you're really hustling. And that is a situation that a lot of people don't want to talk about, that you've spent an hour, you only have 23 hours a day, and you're generally going to sleep 8 of them. Now you've spent an hour to just get rid of 500 calories. So that will allow you, instead of eating 2,000 calories, to eat 2,500 in a day. And maybe in that range, depending on who you are. And you guys all understand that calories are going to be different depending on your size. But it's not a whole lot. And so if you're eating at maintenance and you're exercising for an hour a day, you're only going to create a 500 calorie deficit, which is going to be 1 pound of fat a week. And we're just looking at it from an exercising point. If you are cutting 500 calories out of your diet, you're still going to lose a pound if you get it underneath your maintenance. And that pound is going to come a lot easier. I think it's a lot easier to cut out 500 calories than it is to get on a treadmill for an hour. And that's kind of where that theory comes into play, is that it is much easier and safer if you're morbidly obese to cut out a few calories than it is to go to the gym and grind it out. And then when we're talking about somebody that's morbidly obese, the next part of that situation is going to be that they might be able to cut 1,000 calories out of their daily diet and lose 2 pounds a week without having to move. And then, if you add moving on top of it, they can increase that to, somewhere around 1,500 calories a day if you're morbidly obese. Now, of course, the closer you are to your goal, the harder that is to do. And so if you're in a person that's eating at a really low maintenance, maybe a female that's in the mid 100 pounds, something like that, 140, 135 or something, and you're trying to get to 120, 118 or something like that, it's going to be really difficult for you to cut back 500 calories. So then weight loss becomes a little more tricky. And that's what a lot of people don't want to say is, yes, it starts in the kitchen, and yes, most of it is the kitchen. And when you're talking about being morbidly obese, you got to get the calories lower. You got to start eating less often. You got to do all of these things. But if you're closer to your goal weight, it is much more difficult to cut the calories out. It's hard to find a place to cut them. And so then you start getting into a point where you're like, okay, now I need to increase my activity, because if I can go to the gym for an hour a day, I can create that deficit that we're looking for. But another thing that exercising does is it sharpens you mentally. It makes your mental game stronger, and it kind of can help you balance your hormones a little bit too. And the hormones are an important part of weight loss too, and a lot of people don't want to talk about that. But eating less often can also correct your hormones. So ultimately, you're going to be okay if you do both things. You're going to get the best benefit. You're going to be okay either way. So, the hard part though is also one more thing here that I want to talk about. is when you cut 500 calories out of your diet, your weight will start to come down, right? Well, at some point, that calorie count is going to get you to a maintenance level. So let's say you lose 35 pounds and now your calories are burning at a maintenance level. You're burning what you intake and you've got everything really balanced and you're satisfied with the situation you're in. That happens in weight loss and can happen from counting calories. But now if you exercise 500 off and you do that for 2 years and you get down to a point where your exercise and your maintenance are at the same thing, right? You're burning exactly what you're taking and you're no longer losing any weight. The hard part here is now you have to exercise every day the rest of your life. And that's far less sustainable than the diet end of it and cutting 500 permanent calories out of your diet. You see, so once again, it leans towards the diet side of things and the overall picture and understanding of which one of these two things is more important. And if you know my journey, if you don't, I hope you stay on my channel and hang out and subscribe and watch some of my older videos. You'll find out that I lost 100 pounds before I even started exercising. So the weight comes off easy. And what I did was when the weight came off to a point in which I was no longer losing any more weight, that is when I started picking up the exercising and it helped me lose the last 25 pounds. But I'm telling you now that I'm exercising still every single day. I'm walking and I'm walking for at least an hour and a half every day for well over 10 to 15,000 steps. And sometimes I walk even more than that. In kilometers, I walked 85,000 kilometers last week. So just to kind of give you an idea that I am definitely still on the grind and will have to continue to do that if I want to maintain this lower weight and not gain back some of it. Now, I could just stop walking and I would probably gain some of the weight back and be more like 100-pound weight loss than 125-pound weight loss. So I'm obligated to continue to walk. The good news is I enjoy walking and I found something that I'm passionate about. So that's going to be the last part of this that I want to talk about is if you want to take on exercising as something you do want to do to get a calorie burn, you got to kind of pick something that you're passionate about, that you love, because I think that will help you be able to do it day in and day out, become a part of a community of people that do the same thing you do. And I think those things will help you, burn the extra weight and keep it off too, because a lot of things that a lot of people don't want to talk about is your heart health is important too. So, it's not just about your weight, it's about how good and well balanced your heart is. And you're not going to get there if you're not doing some kind of exercise. So it all paints into this picture to get you to be a healthier you. And I hope that's something that you realize, and I hope that's something that you're striving for. I hope you're striving for better health, because that's what this channel is all about, and helping you get there is what it's all about. And if you are wondering how in the world can you get a 500 calorie deficit, if you haven't started intermittent fasting, it is such an important way to be able to do it. By just skipping your breakfast, you're going to be in a deficit. If you continue to eat the same standard lunch and dinner, the other advice that I would say is never ever snack. If you're going to eat one meal, that like me, just eat the one meal. If you're going to eat 2 meals, eat the 2 meals. And if you're going to eat 3, eat the 3, but cut the snacks out in between. There is no reason to eat when you're not sitting down for a meal. And that's just my 2 cents to you. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you learned something from it, because I'm passionate about helping you and helping you get to your goals. All right, right here is one of my older videos that I think you're going to like. And over here, YouTube thinks you're going to like that one. My face, it's right there. That will subscribe to this channel. Please do it. Help me help you. I'll talk to you on the next one, guys. Peace.